It is a good day to learn more about how to sharpen our business skills. I know every day I come up with something that I should have done better and could have done better, and so we have to focus on it from time to time. So this is our part six in a seven-part series that we're into. So thank you all for being a part of it. And those, I think, three new folks that are joining us tonight, we're certainly glad to have you all on board as well. My presentation number 1122. Thank you all for being with me on my ride into entrepreneurship and letting me join you tonight in your journey as well. Let me say to you that I'm not a lawyer or an attorney. I'm a fellow that's been in business for a long time, only 64 years, and probably twice or three times as old as some of you guys are. So, and I'm still very much in business at 77 years old, maybe having one of the best business years I've ever had. I sell farm equipment on the website that we've had for a number of years. And it's springtime and farmers are busy, and so I'm certainly glad to be in business. Being around that length of time, I've seen a lot of mistakes, done a lot of things right. So I'm glad to share with you all that I can to try to help your journey less stressful and more profitable, and so glad to be with you. First piece of advice that I always give you is get a second or third opinion before you make an important business decision. Talk to someone, if you can find them, that's been there and done that before you go into the woods not knowing maybe what's out there. One of the best places you can do that in North Carolina is at your community college small business center. And tonight we're sponsored by the one at James Brunt Community College in Dublin County. And our director there is Joy Wynn, who is a workaholic. She'll do everything she can for you if you give her a chance. So give Joy a call, set up an appointment, 910-659-6008. Doing it again if you were grabbing for a pen, 910-659-6008 for Joy Wynn. Give her a chance to help you. There's is no charge. It's free. It's confidential, and she'll do all that she can to help you start your business or take it to the next level. After tonight's webinar, you'll get in the email a survey form. It'll take you no more than 60 seconds to fill it out. It'd be really important if you'll do that. We'd certainly appreciate it. That's how the centers get their funding, is based on these survey reports. So please fill that out after you get it in. And that's all the charge you have to be with us. If you hadn't already got them, and if you're just joining us so far and giving us your email address, we will send them to you. I will do it personally tomorrow morning. Different study guides that are related to this to help you see what we're doing, and a way to keep a history and a journal for your new business. But a lot of these study guides are really important. We'll talk about some of them tonight. Others are just for reading on your part. But some of them are tonight, since we're the next to the last series, there's a quiz that I'll ask you to take at the end of the course to qualify for your course completion certificate, and just to give you an idea for some of the main topics that we talked about in the course. So I'll email you the quiz with the answers, and then next week I'll email you the quiz without the answers and just ask you to fill the answers in and send them back to me. That'll be one of the qualifying things for your certificate. So I'm looking forward to getting all those back. We have some really pretty certificates. We work hard on making them nice in each series. They're a little bit different, and we're just looking forward to being able to send you some of them. The certificates are a course completion certificate. That's basically all you have to do is attend at least 5 of the 7 sessions and complete the quiz. The other certificates are related to how much homework or progress you've done on getting your business started, and communicated and networked with me and the other folks in the academy. And there you can win a membership, associate membership to the Academy of Entrepreneurs and Associates. And you can take that certificate with maybe $2 and go buy a cup of coffee anywhere. No, it's just recognition for your hard work and that you identifying with all the other entrepreneurs that are in the same boat that I am, that you am, that we need mutual support. So that's what we're doing. That's what the Academy is all about, and I'll send you more information about that. Next week, part 7 in our 7-part series, we'll wrap it all together with a review. Then we're going to talk about taxes and deductions and depreciation to help you have a good understanding of that. Record keeping we'll talk about. And then a little thing special, with all my years in business, I've done a lot of selling, and I know some good sales tips that I'll be able to share with you. Stephanie, I know that you'll really enjoy that. I hope might help you close some deals a little bit quicker, and that'll be good. Now, next week's session is required to get your certificates. So glad to have you with us tonight, and hope you'll join us again next week. We'll have another series like this starting in late July, and you're getting the last 2 now, and you can pick up the first 5 in July and put it all together for even another certificate or graduation mark. I'm going to lay it out here. Pick up what you can, what you'd like to, let it sink in and help you. Enjoy the class. Excuse my pollen's got my voice going on. Give me some water, maybe that'll help. But those of you that are really into wanting to complete the course, take your business to a new level or get it started in for sure, jump into these homework assignments or challenges. Let me help you with them and get the very most that you can out of this. It's not going to cost you a penny either way. Everything we do for you is at no charge, and we're certainly happy to help you. Been keeping up with attendance, and several of you are definitely will be qualifying for graduation and completion. Just be asking y'all to attend again tonight and next week and do what homework you can, and we'll be on the way. Excuse me, my voice is messing up now. Keep in mind that if in some of the homework assignments you have already done that in your business or have done it for previous classes, you let me know that, and those, I'll go ahead and give you credit again for completing those assignments. Each time, each course, the assignments are basically the same, so that through the years you can attend a lot of courses and not have to do so much homework, but pick up on the new things that we do each and every course and go forward on that. So we'll go on forward. I want to say hello to Tasha. She's been with us a couple of 3 times, so I appreciate your attendance. And look forward to working with you and hearing more about your business. You hadn't sent me any information about your business, so we'll go forward with what we can. Pam, I see that Pam is with us, and Pam, let me tell you that we got someone else.
I got to Burger King later for Daddy.
We got Pam's with us, who is growing crops to sell, fresh produce to sell, and making other things. We certainly appreciate you being with us. And I was going to say, Pam, I know you're in the Rose Hill area, and we've got another lady with us. So if you want to, Carletta, if you want to send Pam a little note in chat, you're able to do that. Let her know where you're at. Maybe y'all can help each other with your business. But Pam, thank you so much for the photograph you sent us last week. And look here, we got growth this week. This is really neat to watch it grow week by week. And Pam, what am I looking at? What is this plant or crop that I've got pictures of here on the screen? Can you tell me? Maybe you don't. Maybe you're not near your mic.
We're looking at white potatoes, okra, squash, tomatoes, onions. Yeah, a little bit of all of it.
All right. So what is here in the green leaves that's in the photograph?
That first row is white potatoes and
Okay.
cabbage and peppers.
I see.
And sort of like that back row, because you really can't see the ones in the center. The back row is butter beans and squash, cucumbers, and watermelon.
I'm getting hungry already. Thank you, dear. Appreciate you sharing that with us. Looking forward to next week's pictures, okay?
Okay.
And here's Kia. So glad that you are joining us and so proud of you for the good work you're doing. Last week I showed a lot of your different slides. But Kia, do you mind telling us how your business is going and basically where are you going to do your work? You still with us? I know sometimes I catch y'all by surprise. Anyway, Kia was telling us earlier that she is basically based around Dublin County and stretches out all the way down to Wilmington and Clinton and Goldsboro. Right now she's got plenty of openings and doing a great job. If you'll find her on Facebook, you'll get a lot of information listed as K&S Cleaning Service under her personal name, Vakia Merrill. So thanks for being with us. We appreciate it so much. Sarita will probably be with us a little later. She usually attends. She's our senior in the academy, and she does our certificates for us, and certainly look forward to seeing her tonight. Darcy is our newest academy member that has opened the business in the last few weeks. She has worked at it for several years and has got her florist business up and running now, about 1 month into the game, and so proud. She was telling us last week that she's getting a lot of business coming in, and we need that new business. So find Darcy and give her a shout and let her know she advertises as the florist in Raleigh. Lynette Smith has been joining us, and she has got a brand new business about ready to open in Kenansville, Chick Girls Ultrasound and Boutiques. Looking so forward to visiting the shop. I'm not sure when her grand opening is, but you can see all that she's up to and getting started on Facebook as well. And we're so proud of you ladies getting these new businesses started. This is what her screen looks like at Facebook. Chick Girls Ultrasound. So check that out. Give her a like and a shout. And really proud. I was studying last night.
You aren't sharing your screen.
Holy moly. I am so glad you have taught me because I thought it was. Let's see what's going on here. I don't start all over. Let's see what happens this time. How about now, Trevana? Is it up?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and I apologize. I apologize for the snafu there, and this is too important not to follow up on. First of all, we'll go back to, hey, Tasha, glad to have you with us, and send me more information about your business, and we'll help you. Pam, thank you so much for sharing pictures. I've already talked about you, but I wanted folks to see that garden last week and see how it looks this week. It's amazing how things are really growing, and we're all looking forward in a week or so for you to say, hey, y'all come and buy something from me. And there's Kia doing a fantastic job getting her new cleaning business started, based out of Dublin County, but working in the surrounding areas. So glad to help you here. Sarita, she'll be back with us. And Darcy and her new business, The Florist, thank you so much for all that you're doing. And Lynette, her new business opening up real soon in Kenansville, Chick Girls Ultrasound and Boutiques. And Frida, I am so glad you're with us. I have spent about an hour looking at your great presentations last night, and I hope that you are okay with me sharing anything. Frida is a busy lady. She is a very active administrator in the school systems in the area around Lewisburg. But her business is Simply Chic by Frida. And Frida, I'm going to ask you if you might turn your microphone on in a minute and have any comments to advise us about how to do business with you. I am so impressed with the quality of your images, the way you're presenting them at your website and on social media. Just very impressive. And you have already followed my playbook so much, I'll be able to give you lots of credit for homework and classes that even you missed because of the work you've already done. So thank you so much for what you're doing. Very impressed with the way, one of the things that we really encourage everyone to do is make sure that you have some type of menu that you're presenting so your shoppers can get a good idea of all the things that you're offering. And Frida has done a fantastic job with that. She's got a great displays of images of products that she's selling and offering, a good shopping system. And when you click on one of those images, it opens up so you get a really good view of the colors and different viewpoints of it, and are able to put it in a shopping cart very easily. So congratulations, Frida. So proud of the hard work you've done there, and made it easy to shop. And one of the things that we always say in our marketing is make it easy for your customer to do business with you, and you will get more business. Very important that Frida has gone the extra mile in sharing about herself and what she's all about, and a personal look at why she is dedicated to this and what she's trying to achieve. I was most impressed by your closing statement about being intentional about making time to take care of yourself and do something that makes you happy today. You're worth it, my friend. That's the personal messages that really help create relationships and therefore inspire folks to do business with you. I'm looking forward to getting with my granddaughters this weekend and letting them pick out a couple of things, and I'll buy them from you and send you a note. A lot of personal pictures, bringing Frida's website alive, and that is a goal. That is the major goal that us small business people selling to people around the world, we have to become open and have the courage to show them, indeed, we're here, we're proud of ourselves, and we're proud of what we're trying to do. So, Frida, thank you so much for all that you're doing. Would you like to make a comment about that little pitch I made for you?
Thank you very much. That makes me feel I'm elated. So I am driving and I'm in the country, so I don't know how long I will actually have reception. But I appreciate the feedback that you've given. And I don't know, what would you like for me to share?
Well, just basically that you're here, and if you're driving, I don't want you to get too excited.
Right.
That might end up being a bad story, but at any rate, if anyone who wants to send a message to Frida on chat, I'll forward it on to her since she's driving. But this is Frida. This is in the top 10 websites and presentations of entrepreneurs that I've helped during the last 15 years.
Oh gosh! Thank you so much. So I'm almost home. I'll be able to join for real in about 10 minutes. So thank you.
All right, then in the video tomorrow, you'll be able to see all the slides that I put up for you. Okay? All right, here we go. Let's see what else we got going on. What drives people forward is the willingness to put yourself out there, like Pam and Kia with those photographs, and making your business become personal, creating a relationship is the first step in creating a long-term customer that spends a lot of money with you and talks about you, becomes a raving fan, and indeed that's what we have to do to be sustainable. How do we make that keep rolling? Is we get a good database of email addresses and a good menu of things that we're offering, and we change that up every now and then and keep sending them promotions, by golly, and they will keep sending you business. So do your part, and I'll do my part, but we need all your website information. I spent some time checking Frida out last night and getting that information for you. That's what customers do. So we need to learn to help them find us and have enough information that they can get excited about doing business with you. YouTube videos is a major hot thing that we need to keep going forward with. And Frida, that's something that can really take what you've done so far that is really great, and then just juice it up really good with videos on each page and talking about some of those different products in your own voice. Just will make a major difference in the amount of inquiries and sales that you get. I know that that's true because I use it in my business every day. And I see that when I use the videos, immediately I start getting orders and correspondence related to those, because that's the way people are shopping right now. The words of the week. The words of the week, and I'm not talking about W-E-A-K week, I'm talking about each week. I come up with a different word that I think will be really helpful for me and my vocabulary to start thinking about and using reminders to kind of up the ante, to become more savvy in what we're doing. And so we had 5 weeks so far, adding another one tonight. I'll ask those of you that are close to your chat button to get rid of there and just tap in what any of these words that you remember. We'll start it up 1 week at a time and help bring a little excitement in here. And week 1, when we first got started, we got pictures of Otis here, my bulldog, helping us along. In week 1, the word, we were going to be fat. Yeah, fat, like old Papa Steve-O here, but not really. No, fat was for the 3 letters F-A-T. F-A-T. Anyone remember what F-A-T is helping us to remember to be? Type it in the chat board there as we get started. F-A-T. What does F and A and T encourage us to be? Will chat work there? Everybody trying to get their fingers limbered up. I just know you are. All right, I'm going to move on. Well, FAT was faithful to yourself and to your business. Be available to your customers. And be teachable. If we don't open up ourselves and don't get the idea that we know it all already and there's nothing else to learn, then I'm telling you, entrepreneurship is not going to be very friendly to you, because it is a constant learning way of going about it. Second week, we started with the letter C. What was the letter C about? The letter C was about being committed, being dedicated and loyal, faithful and devoted, anchored and pledged. In other words, it's the character stuff. If you don't have this business and it's really going to work for you, you got to be committed to it. Like Kia said, hey, I'm in Dublin County, but I'll go wherever the work is. I like that. That is committed to making that business go forward. Week 3, the letter started with L. Listen. Listen to yourself and start learning how to master relationship building. This kind of came out, people say, Steve, teachers are supposed to say listen to other people, because can't be a good salesperson if you don't listen to what your customers are saying, and that's absolutely right. But when I do these webinars and seminars and I go back and I listen to the recordings, I do a lot of listening to myself, and sometimes I just don't like what I hear. It seems like it's just chatter sometimes and buzzing, and sometimes I'm not sending the message that I really meant to do. Please, sometimes you need to listen to yourself, and as you do these introduction videos, that'll help you do that. We need to say the right things at the right time to start mastering relationships, and that's going to take one of our other words here tonight to make it work. But week 4, we had the letter I. What was that letter about? I. Anyone remember? I was all about investing in yourself, investing in yourself. You're here tonight, and so by golly, I'm preaching to the choir. I know that. Be willing to invest in yourself and improve those skills that we all need in the ways we do business. So that's what all these words are all about, actually, is helping us think about and improve our image and the way we do business. Week 5 was G last week. Real special word for me, especially this week. I lost an uncle this week, but he was more than an uncle. He was maybe in my vision and mission statement, promise statement. I make a promise to try to be a lot less like me and a lot more like Jesus. But yesterday I attended the memorial service for my uncle, Charles Thaggart, out in Fayetteville. And I can easily say I'd like to be a lot less like me and a lot more like Uncle Charles. He was walking, talking, great example of graciousness. And when we recognize that in people, let me encourage you, especially I know how young you all are, but when you find someone that you know is special and really gracious, stop and listen to them and observe them. And it's perfectly fine to try to mimic that, to act like they do, say the things they do, because indeed it is building your legacy as someone that is a giver, someone that's rock solid. When you do that, you'll be a business person that people recognize as being that way and want to do business with. Graciousness, what a great thing to be. And you for tonight, along the same lines, ready, is courage. What in the world has all this got to do with having a small business? I'll tell you, it's everything to do with it. Buying and selling and advertising and all that kind of stuff is, yeah, it's business. It's repeat this and repeat that, but there are new things all the time that are happening, and new customers that are coming your way, and new opportunities and challenges that are coming your way. We must always try to find the courage to lead, but lead in the right way. So I would say lead with convictions. Let me encourage you all to let that sink in a minute and say, hey, I'd kind of like to do that. Because in business, there's a lot of things that we have to deal with. And I'll close out tonight with another word on that. So our words of the week so far in this series have been faithful, available, teachable, committed, listen to yourself and learn how to master building relationships, invest in yourself, find the grace to always be considerate and thoughtful of other folks, and find the courage to lead with convictions. So that's our little preaching session tonight, and I hope it sinks in and does all of us a little bit of good. My job is to be assertive, another word that I like to use, because no one becomes motivated until someone else is assertive, and we all have to motivate. We need to motivate our customers, we need to motivate ourselves, and we need to motivate the people we're buying and selling from to give us a good deal so we can pass them on to the customers after we add some profit to it. Be assertive. You need to start feeling that too, because it's an important part of doing the business. So that was my job. Your job is to find the endurance. Endurance is a great word, to stay in this game. Staying in entrepreneurship is the way you win, because you have to stay in it long enough to learn the little fine points that will help you stay in business and make earning a profit something that you're good to do. Staying power gets back to two things. And it's so simple, it's absolutely academic. People are out here buying two things. They're buying things that they want, and they're buying things that they need. People buy things that they want usually on the impulse. And they buy things that they want when they have a little bit of extra walk around money, right? That's the way I am. And then there's the other folks that are here shopping that are buying things that they need. They gotta have them for the house, for the car, for their garden, for whatever, but they need them. And they're gonna buy them when good business is good and business is bad. If they don't have enough walk around money, they'll pull the credit card out and charge it. So my word to you is, and I keep saying it to myself, I need to have a business that is offering people several profit centers, several things that I'm selling of things that they want. And I also need to have a business that is offering to them several profit centers of things that people need. And these different things that I'm selling really is greater when they are connected in such a way that I can say to someone when they're buying something they need, hey, thank you for buying this, and by the way, I've also got that. And when you have that type of combination, my friend, you are merchandising, you are selling, you are doing, got vision, you have put it together, you forecast what people need. So I'm asking you to ask yourself, what am I selling that people want? What am I selling that people need? And start making that list. The larger the list is on both sides of the column, the more sustainable your business is going to be. More diversified profit centers mean more diversification with your customers and a lot better chance of staying in business a long time. Through the series, we've introduced about 8 drill skills a week. A drill skill is a little thing that I talk about that can be your DNA for entrepreneurship, things that help you get through some tough times, help you avoid a lot of mistakes. So one of the handouts that I'll send you is a list of 40 drill skills, I call them, and this is talking about business skills. And there's about 30 of them that's got a video I've done with each one of them. I encourage you to watch those. I get a lot of feedback from people that say this makes a difference for me, a very positive difference. Number 33, when you have a chance to meet a customer in public or in private, but maybe in public, when you see them coming your way or the opportunities will come that you can meet them, be energetic, leap up, act excited, give them a big smile. I'm so glad to see you. Make them feel important every time you get a chance to meet one of those customers. It is not acceptable for you to sit at the table and let them come to you and you look up at them like you're doing them a darn favor. No. The difference is $1 million a secret here. Show enthusiasm when you have a chance to meet and greet and build a relationship with one of your customers. Be excited about seeing them. Let them know that you feel that way. Let the people around you know that you think they're important, and then by golly, you'll see a big smile on their face and a sense of appreciation that's kind of a lost thing today. A lot of people don't know this. It's kind of old school stuff, but it is so important. Next. Yeah, you got things going on good. You know what you're doing. You're savvy. But are you keeping your radar turned on to what is the next new hot thing that you can be doing? Have you got your radar turned on that you feel like that you're taking advantage of the best marketing tools that are available to you? Something new's coming down the corner, you maybe be able to get to sell it and lock in on the market. When you're able to be on the wave, on the top of the rim while you're coming in, like you're surfing, you get to ride that wave a long time if you get on early. Now, fads come and go, and this is not what I'm talking about. It's easy to get burned with a fad. Now, you don't want to invest a lot of money in something until you feel pretty darn sure it's going to have staying power, but you don't want to keep procrastinating until all the steam is out of it. So always be thinking about what's the next hot thing. Right now, I'm thinking about what the new webinar topics I'm going to be talking about next year, so I can start marketing them and see if I can get the small business centers to hire me to come on board and share the ideas with you. What's next? What's next for you? Informed and structured forecasting is so important. Not just, I think I've got my eyes open, I got vision. No. Tonight we're going to talk about structured forecasting, because I'm going to tell you there's curveballs coming your way. Old Murphy's always out here throwing curveballs at us. There's pitfalls, there's unpleasant surprises and unexpected expenses. If we've got good structured forecasting, you'll avoid a lot of that, save a lot of money, and cut a lot of stress out of being in business for yourself. So really pay attention as we talk about forecasting later tonight. What's going to help you be the very best negotiator you can be? Whether you're in real estate or car sales or selling produce, farm equipment, mowing grass, we're always negotiating. What's going to help you be the very best negotiator that you can be? I promise you it's 2 words, and that is extreme preparation. If you do your homework and prepare before you go into a business negotiation, your chances have almost improved by 100% that you'll be successful. and we'll talk about that later tonight. But remember, just you're in business now, and every deal goes to your future, to making it go down the line. So negotiating becomes more important. A little bit of good news here. That's why having that endurance to stay in the game, to learn how to negotiate, to learn each time you do it, to remember what you did right and what you did wrong, and try to improve your game. That's extreme preparation, is remembering what's right and what's wrong and how to make it work better for you the next time. You've heard this a million times, but it's worth saying again, especially as we are trying to build new relationships with customers. They don't care. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So that gets back to the courage, because it takes courage sometimes to be open and let folks know that you do care, you are wishing the best for them, and you're just not someone made out of stone trying to make a sale. And when you can send that message through phone conversations, face-to-face conversations, but nowadays, more importantly, send that message through the internet. So when they're shopping, they get that feeling. And there's no better way for you to come across as a caring person that you are, other than in videos. That's one reason they're so important. Maybe that you're going to need associates or employees to help you move your business forward. And here's the key to finding and keeping the right people. And that is a question. How can you expect an employee or someone that you need to really care about helping you move your business forward and helping you see your dreams come true, unless they feel like you feel the same way about them? Yeah. When we're approaching people and we need their help and assistance as an employee or a counselor or an associate or a vendor, it's important that we show that we care about them individually and what their dreams are, and be willing to help them get there. That's just simple life. So keep in mind that simple thing about life has everything to do with entrepreneurship and getting our new businesses started as well. And this is a good time to talk about this, of course, and that is integrity is all about you running your business the right way, and to know that it's real. In this world with fake news and people telling lies after lies after lies, and then turning around and saying they didn't say it when everyone watched them do it, that's an absolute loss of integrity. And that can't be compromised or replaced. Some folks try to replace integrity with a charisma. Big talk, big stories, I can do this. Charisma does not substitute for character. Now, charisma is a good thing to have. It's really good when you've got integrity and character to help you along with it. But are you showing the integrity that you want to show? And I'm not saying show off, but just build into what your presentation, the way you talk and listen to folks. If you are, your character's coming through, and that creates charisma. So stay strong with your convictions. People will notice it, and it will make a difference in your sales. And lastly, I believe that people almost never quit their job. I've had as many as 2,000 employees through the years. They're all somewhere else now, but they didn't quit. I've had a lot of businesses and such as that. As a matter of fact, when I sold my last business that had employees, we had about 17 employees, and the average time that folks had been with me at that point in time was 25 years or more. But the average was 25 years. Some folks, several folks, over 40 years. So I learned a lot of lessons through those years working with those people. So being the boss might mean to someone being a taskmaster, but I want you to be a leader. It'll be very, very seldom that people quit their boss as long as they're treating them right. So here we go again. What are we going to do now after 6 weeks of learning how to market and get customers and buy stuff and pricing and all that? Let's get in the game. It's time to get off the bench and get in the game and start going to work. Get your Facebook pages working, get your YouTubes working for you, testimonials. I need to see those mission, vision, and promise statements coming on in from you guys now. They're really important and will really help you. Pictures of your work, different photos that you might have of vehicles, YouTube training of vehicles, show me your business cards. Anything you give to me will be important towards your Academy membership consideration. And also, the more you can give me, the more I can help promote you at our Facebook pages and also here during the seminars. So do your testimonials and work on them hard. Now to the subject matter. Bookkeeping, forecasting, negotiating. There's a lot of written material in the handouts that are sent to you. There's just so much, we won't have time to cover them tonight. I have individual webinars that I do on these different topics, but we don't combine them all up tonight. Let's talk about bookkeeping a little bit. What does the bookkeeper do? Why do you need a bookkeeper in your life? A business owner needs to know on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis what's working and what's not. Where's my cash coming from and where is it going? What are my items that are doing really well and what are my items that are doing bad? Is someone stealing from me? Is something happening here I need to know about? Well, your bookkeeper function here, either as a person or someone that's doing the work for a bookkeeper, is really important. That's why we need to have a little conversation tonight. It's an accounting part, but it's not the CPA type accountant part of your work. Some bookkeepers do both, but there's two different jobs here. The accountant's role is to look over the bookkeeper's work, to look at the monthly totals, the financial statements, annual statements, what's happening with stockholders, and kind of looking at the big term, long-term issues. That's your CPA or your accountant or your combination person. But the bookkeeper's role is to look at this thing daily. Primary focus is daily and not long-term. The bookkeeper wants to start out with a zero at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day have another zero and have accounted for everything that transpired during that time. And generally, that's done with ledgers or software, of course, in today's world. But the bookkeeper is recording all your financial transactions, your debits, your credits, probably producing your invoices for you, maintaining general ledgers or computer files. Most of the time, well, I'm not going to say that anymore, but lots of the time, the bookkeeper is the person that looks after payroll in the business. These days, a lot of folks are hiring another company to do the payroll work. So now, let's just kind of look at the slide here and think about, and I'm trying to simplify this as much as I can, so that I want your business owners to have a grasp of what's going on so that you're able to use this as a marketing tool. Think about putting up here at the top where my cursor is, right over here, a big zero here, right by transactions at the beginning of the day, and then a big zero over here at the end of this circle, indicating that we're going to start out with a zero and want to end up with a zero, or in other words, everything balances. That's what we're going to be doing with these different 8 functions that the bookkeeper does in a day's work. The bookkeeper's tools mainly, of course, are her journals or the software, but we're using mainly a chart of accounts. Say that with me, chart of accounts. A chart of accounts are the different columns, the different line items that we would have in our bookkeeping system. And these account numbers are listed, all of them. Reach over here for my main checkbook, chart of accounts. See if I can show you this. Here's my chart of accounts. Different numbers, different things that we're going to spend money on. These are all items that we write checks for. And then in our chart of accounts, these are all the items when checks come in that I record what type of sale it was. And I do that in the bookkeeping system so that I do it as I write the checks and do the invoicing, and then I give them to my bookkeeper, and she's able to take that account number and know where to plug it in automatically without having a lot of explanation. And if it's wrong, it's my fault. So a business owner, I think, who is writing the checks, you've got a responsibility to tell your bookkeeper exactly what type of expense that is. Now, after a year or so, then the bookkeeper would probably automatically know that. Maybe that's not necessary unless something new comes up. But normally your chart of accounts are all given a set of numbers for income. I can suggest you start out with the 100s, 101, 102, 199, all the way down. That gives you 99 charts of accounts, and all the items that would be for income, all the items for expenses. You might want to consider the 200 numbers for red ink, and then other type items. And every business is going to be different, have more things. You can give them different numbers in the 300s or 400s or thousands, whatever you want to use. But let's focus on the 1 and 200s as you're just getting started to keep your bookkeeping simple as you can. Every bookkeeping business, for every business, will be a little bit different. And this is kind of an example of a very simple chart of accounts or a listing of sales journals for a daily sales journal looks like a building supply company maybe. They're listing down their date, they're listing down what the different things were for. They don't have their account numbers listed, but they've got the different types of sales they are listed at the top in columns. They listed down the customer names and the invoice numbers and such as that. Invoicing is an important part of your business when it comes to bookkeeping. You can make all the sales as you want to and give receipts, that's fine, but it's important that you're going to need to have a copy of those receipts, and those receipts have a number on them. And that number needs to be numerical, growing as the more you do. It's also important that your invoices have a date on them. Some people will use the date as the invoice number, like today being May 15th. Invoices that you write today might be May 15-1, May 15-2, depending on how many invoices you go all the way down. But remember, even now as you're just getting started, assign a number and a date to each transaction and then put them in such of a system that they can be found later on, either by chronologically, the date, or by the invoice number that you're using. And then you'll decide through your chart of accounts what type of information that you're going to list on them. Now let's take apart a sample invoice here to give you an idea how you or someone else might break it down to get the information you want. I want you to be able to know how you're making money and where it's going. And the way you do that is having your bookkeeper break out different things from invoices so that she can give you a running total. Now let's say that Travana has opened up a gift shop, and she's with us tonight, and she is believing she's going to have a great year, so she's ordered in a lot of candles to sell in her gift shop, and they're starting to sell now. So she's going to want a breakdown to see how this is working out. She asked her bookkeeper on these invoices, I want you to break out certain charts of account so I can monitor what my totals are at the end of the day, end of the month, and so forth. Because I'm thinking about ordering some more of these in a month or so I really need to know what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. So the bookkeeper takes this invoice, which is dated 12/12/16. That sounds like it might have been written on December 12, 2016, doesn't it? Well, it could have been. That may be what that invoice number is about, or maybe not. But it's for a box of candles that sold for $8.56. Now, because 7% tax had been collected there, 56 cents of that money is tax money. And automatically, we're going to take that tax money and set it aside. We're going to pigeonhole that tax money and keep up with exactly how much taxes we're collecting so that we don't have the money at the end of the month to pay the bill, because it's on your sales tax report will say that you need to send in X amount of dollars. So that leaves us $8 in that sale. What was that $8 all about? All right, let's break it out. What was the cost of the product? The cost of the product invoice was $2. We'll take that out, set it aside, and keep up with it. We had 55-cent freight on each box. Set that aside. Travana is a great employer. She's offering her staff a 10% sales commission on everything they sell. So 10% of that will go out over into another column for one of the sales clerks, 80 cents. Travana is also offering a customer loyalty program here where the good loyal customer automatically gets a 5% discount. So that's taken out as well, it's accounted for. And she did a special advertising campaign at 6.5% of the revenue she thought she was going to get in promoting these candles and this big sale she's having. So she's going to take 52 cents of that and set it aside and keep up with it to see how much her return on investment is coming back for the advertising she's doing. So the cost of the sale here, from Travana's point of view, is $4.27. Took in $8.56, sent out $4.27. So that means 53% was the cost of the sale, and therefore 47% was the gross profit. No, we're going to call it margin. The margin on that particular box of candles, 47%. That looks like a great margin, doesn't it? It really does. But remember, this is just only one item. And in your business plan, if you remember how we did those modules, this would be a perfect example of how to put together a module when you're figuring your business plan to see what your profit potential is on candles. And we can see right now that if we want to make a significant amount of money, that selling one box of candles at a time, we're going to bring in $3.73. So if we want to bring in $373, we need to sell 100 boxes of candles. That will help you see what your overall volume and revenue income by breaking things down in this type of module. But on this thing, this is the way it worked out, 47%, and you work it out, put it in your module, and they help your business plan go forward. So now the bookkeeper has that particular invoice in front of her. She starts taking out those individual items that we mentioned and makes the journal entries, as mentioned here, all the way down the line. And as she takes those entries and posts them into the system, that means she's entered it into the computer or writes it down on the ledger. That's called posting. All these little numbers now. And the trial balance is to see if all these little numbers add up to the revenue at the top, that 856 amount of money. So if it does, she says she's doing the trial balances to see if things work out. You would do that on some type of worksheet if you were not on the computer. Do it on your worksheet and how it is. And it should have been $8.56, but my cash drawer didn't have but $8.26. So she right there is 30 cents off on that one invoice. And you know what that is? It might as well be $30,000 if it's 30 cents, because the bookkeeper is determined that she's after a zero up at the top of this circle and therefore has to make some adjusting journal entries. The bookkeeper sees where the mistakes are, fixes them. She's the fixer. But when she fixes them to get that thing to balance, then she is at a point, or he is at a point of responsibility. And they have to make a note as to why I made this change. There was a tax problem here. So they make that note and enter it onto the computer or onto their chart, and that's called an adjusting journal entry. Why did I have to make a change, and what was it all about? Now that adjusting journal entry becomes a get out of jail card for a bookkeeper years from now. Well, bookkeepers are oftentimes charged with fraud or doing wrong things with the books that they're working with, embezzlement, other bad names you might say, that if he or she can show why I made those changes and that they were real and legitimate, that adjusting journal entry says, okay, we understand. So that's why I always recommend to people that's in the bookkeeping business or folks that are employed as bookkeepers, when you're making these adjusting journal entries, you keep a copy for yourself. You keep a copy of anything that you're doing in that book work that can prove that you weren't doing anything wrong. Okay? That's the word, the wise, because they can go back a number of years. So you want to keep that work. If you were change jobs from one place to the other, I'm not trying to say steal any company secrets by any means, but you remember how and when and have a copy of those adjusting journal entries, especially the ones that are very significant. All right, after those adjustments are made, guess what we're after? We're after coming up with a financial statement for today's work. All those little invoices are being transferred over to a journal for the total daily sale. And therefore, at the end of that day, you're going to have a financial statement for that day's work. And on another journal, you'll have an entry for each day of the month that goes down to show you what's going on each day. Once you get that financial statement, then it's time to close the books. And closing the books is saying, I'm satisfied with what I've got, but I take it to the next step. If you started out up at the top of all your invoices that came in that day of revenue, of say $2,000, then as you go all the way around the process and you get back to $2,000 up at the top, that's when I want you to say, okay, I'm going to take that $2,000 and put it on my bank statement that we had this amount of revenue to come in. Here's a copy of my bank statement for $2,000 for this particular day. And therefore, you've got a check and balance system that you can show to the owner of the business or discuss it with them if there's any types of changes. So getting back to zero is you started with zero, you added up all your invoices for a grand total of income, you worked them out all the way around the circle, you came back up with the same number at the top, and maybe you had to make some adjusted journal entries if there were any changes, and you got that bank statement to take away from it and end up with the zero. In other words, all the little big numbers started out, you broke them all apart, you put them back together, everything looks good, and you can show the boss how much money you put in the bank and where it came from. You'd be doing the same process with checks that you're writing. Started out with X amount of money in the bank account, wrote these number of checks for different things, you came back up, and your balance at the end of the day is this, plus what you just added in on the income side. It's really quite simple, but it can get really complicated when two or three things happen. One, the bookkeeper is hired to come in and do bookkeeping work, but instead we have them running errands, answering the phone, keeping people happy as a reception person, helping out in the parts department or running errands here and there and doing everything you can imagine except bookkeeping. Problems are created there. So my advice to you is if you're hiring a bookkeeper, make sure they have a place and a space and the time to complete their work without interruptions. They have to get it done right and they get it done best, because here's what happens. With all these interruptions, just like with you and I, distractions, we start making mistakes or we can't get it done. And therefore the mistakes are made, and then we have to bring in the accountant to help us figure out what happened. That's when the meter starts running for more money being spent, because the accountants don't charge you big time to help you figure out how the bookkeeper made a mistake. And that money over a period of a year or years that we have paid extra to the accountant could very well have helped you hire another part-time person to look after these extracurricular activities the bookkeeper's been trying to do. I know in my business, when my bookkeeper finally told me that she just couldn't get it done with all her distractions getting on, and suggested that in the early morning hours from 8 till 1 o'clock that I bring in a part-time person to look after reception and answering the phone and running errands. And I will tell you, it didn't take but 1 month till I found out that was a good system. I got better information from my bookkeeper. She was happier. The part-time person was doing a great job. As a matter of fact, we found a way to turn her work into full-time. She helped the bookkeeper the first part of the day. The second part of the day, she helped out in the parts department. And it was a win-win situation for everyone, my company, me, and my customers. So keep that in mind. You give the bookkeeper space to get the work done. Always do that. But I want to tell you now, we're giving this person a lot of trust with our books, with our checkbooks probably, and such as that. So I got to say, you need to have separations of duties to help avoid fraud, embezzlement, other types of problems. I'm not saying that someone is dishonest, but I'm saying we need a set of standards and rules that helps keep people honest. And here's a few things that you might want to consider doing. Maybe have the bookkeeper, if you need someone else to write your checks, but you reserve the right to sign them. In other words, they can prepare the checks for 2 or 3 days, and then on the day that you can come by the office or look over everything and have a chance to breathe and look them over, you sign the checks. Look them over and see what it is. Don't take for granted everything is hunky-dory. Or maybe you just might say that 2 people ought to sign the checks, you and someone else or 2 other people. Or you might say that on really large checks, I don't reserve that either I sign them or the vice president will sign them. Put some type of measure there for a separator of duty that kind of takes all the thumb pressure off your bookkeeper and that you accept some responsibility in that. It's a very good move for new business people. Give it some serious thought. When checks come in, as soon as they come into your business, handed to your clerk, to yourself, to your bookkeeper, make sure that you've got a stamp, ready to take that check and turn it over. Hit that thing that says for deposit only. When a check has deposit only written on the back of it, someone who steals it cannot cash it. When it has deposit only on, someone who finds it cannot cash it. So it makes that check non-negotiable itself in your account. So I suggest you have a standing rule for yourself and or anyone else that receives checks for you. As soon as it comes in, I mean like minutes after it comes in, stamp it. When people observe you doing that, if there's a crook checking you out, they understand that these people stamp these checks, so there's no need for me to try to break in here and get them because they're not going to be any good to me either, or I don't need to try to run them down while they're in their car going to the bank because the checks are all non-negotiable. Okay? They're negotiable for you, but not for them. I suggest to you that you open all the mail coming in, especially bank statements, because the best way that you can find out if someone is not paying bills that you thought were being paid, you'll see the past due notices come, or you'll see the bad check notices on your bank statement. It's up to you, and you don't shirk that responsibility. It is not that you say, well, I'm paying someone else to do that. Well, you're paying someone else to help manage the paperwork, but you're not going to pay anyone else to protect yourself from knowing that everyone that's working for you is honest and doing the right thing, and that you've got the courage to stay on top of it to make sure that's the case. Gentle, silent, continuous pressure is a good thing. If you have that gentle, silent, continuous pressure of opening the mail and looking over the statements and the bookkeeping record, there's a good chance things will stay right for you. But I can tell you, I've done all that. And then through the 64 years in business, I can tell you on 3 occasions, I had employees figure out different ways to steal from me. But within 6 months, I found out about it and confronted, collected all my money back, and killed all 3 employees. And a lot of people would hear that and say, you crazy fool. But I think after we all learned our lessons, including these people, I still loved them and I understood what was going on, but they made it right. They paid me back, and I conditionally said, you owned up to it. I'm not going to charge you. I'm not going to take you to court. I'm not going to create bad press for me and for you and for your families. That it was better that we just kind of tightened up and did things better. The rest of the story is, all three of those folks worked for me for over 30 years and never had another problem, and all three of them helped me find issues with other folks that we were able to straighten out. Okay, you want to look at all your bank and credit card statements. You want to open that mail and check it out. It takes time, and you have to set it aside sometimes, but try to open your mail every day and take a look at it. Now, you might hand it right off to someone else to deal with the issues, but you keep an awareness going on. It'll keep you out of a lot of trouble. Your bookkeeping system now, especially with Facebook, not with Facebook, with QuickBooks, is so darn neat, because these softwares now can print out charts for you and give you comparisons in real time to help you see what you're doing right this month compared to last month, this year compared to last year. Where's the bulk of your money going? It will figure it out for you with your QuickBooks system. So as soon as you get your books kind of organized the way you want them, then talk to your bookkeeper or your QuickBooks expert about how to get these certain charts and printouts to come to you automatically at the end of the month when your bookkeeper hits that button to give you reports. Now, the sad thing about QuickBooks is, some 20 years now, I guess, in making, is that used to the bookkeeping system was just a manual tool, and at the end of the week, the bookkeeper would have your payroll ready and such as that, and your taxes that needed to go in, and they give you that report. But you had that interaction between the owner and the bookkeeper. And then QuickBooks came along, and bookkeeping became, well, this is a system we have that prints out our tax statements at the end of the month, and that's all I need to know about how much taxes I need to pay at the end of the month, and the bookkeeping system will do that for me. And I want to tell you that, so I guess 90+% of entrepreneurs that's wonderful. I don't have to worry about all that stuff. But I'm here to tell you, and the reason this is important to me, and I think to you, is with QuickBooks now, you are able to get a report anytime. Sometimes you don't have to wait till the end of the month. They give you a report to date. But at least once a month, you can track which of your profit centers are doing well and maybe not so well. See what maybe some expenses are going up and down, because in business, we want a steady flow, a steady income increase. That's our goal. That's sustainability. That's creating more black ink, more positive cash flow. And we can best do that if we monitor what is going on in our business is changing that, or if something is changing at all. The bookkeeping system can tell you where you've got spikes. What's going on? Why is this going up so high? I have no idea. Why is my expenses going up so high, or why is my sales going up so high on this particular thing? And if you don't know, then you're in trouble, because things happen sometimes. Sometimes people steal inventory from you. Sometimes people sell items at cost. It was a legal sale, but maybe they had a friend that they sold it way under cost and gave someone else a benefit. The bookkeeping system will bring those things out and show you some alarms and red flags. So you want to set up your system to help you do that, to give you charts that you might need to help you keep up with what's going right for you. Now, I'm not going to charge into payroll because that's a whole different topic, but I will say that oftentimes the bookkeeper in a new business is the person that's doing the payroll. More and more people are giving this function to another company to do the payroll, and one of the reasons they are is what I'm going to talk about now. If your bookkeeper is doing the payroll, it's a lady or a gentleman that comes in to do that for you, you want to make sure that employees are not given an open door situation to your bookkeeper related to payroll issues. Payroll issues should be discussed with you or with their supervisor. The bookkeeper needs to stay out of those petty arguments. Folks might have an issue with time clock management and such as that, but that's not something the bookkeeper decided. She's just completing your instructions. So when they want to complain about something, you make sure that your entire staff knows, you got an issue with payroll, take it up with me, and I'll follow up with my bookkeeper when the time is appropriate, and we'll get back to you. It'll be best if you put it in writing, and that way I'll have a basis to go forward with it. But keep your bookkeeper out of arguments, petty arguments with employees. It will always end up with a bad situation with either the bookkeeper leaving you or the employee getting mad and leaving you, and therefore here goes the whole morale of the business. The best way to stop it is to have the courage to keep it separated and you handle issues yourself. Remember the word in FAT was available? Yeah, we don't need to turn and run from issues where we have conferences that aren't comfortable. You have to have the courage to be available to keep your business on a steady and even keel. Okay, any questions in your mind about bookkeeping, make a note of it at the end of the presentation. We'll talk about them openly right here online, or over in the chat. You can ask your questions in the chat, and at the end of the presentation tonight, I'll copy that and answer those questions tomorrow. So, you like to play chess? Chess is a good game. I enjoy playing it, have for a number of years. But in business, it's a lot like playing chess lots of times. We make a move, hopefully, on how it will affect the board in the future. That is, thinking forward. Forecasting is all about chess and trying to figure out, if I do this, what's the reaction going to be? And in everything, if you do one thing, there will be a reaction to it. And our ability to better gauge what that reaction is all comes into negotiating and forecasting. So let's talk about that a bit. Forecasting. Oh, the weather reports are so important. We look at them every morning to determine what we're going to wear, what we're going to eat, where we're going to go, how the weekend is looking, and such as that. So forecasting is a big word for all of us. If we're going on a cruise, we want a big, good forecast with smooth seas and sunny weather, right? If we're in the raising cattle business, we're always interested in forecasting that. If I put my heifers and my bulls together, indeed, when are those babes going to be, calves going to be born? I want them born when the grass is green, such as that. So we're always looking at that time clock and figuring out, if I do this at a certain time, what will happen down the road at another time. Forecasting bad weather is important too, with things like lightning strikes. My son Vince works with U.S. Fish and Wildlife for the southeastern United States, and one of his primary jobs is fighting wildfires. So his responsibility is to know where it's really dry in the southeast, and if we have bad lightning storms going on, he's got computer software that shows him where the lightning strikes are. And if they're clustered in an area that's been real dry, they will automatically send folks in there looking for any small fires before they turn into big ones. And sometimes that is very, very helpful to keep wildfires from ever getting started. So forecasting is important in a lot of people's businesses, but mainly it's important in your business and in my business. Because if we are not good and conscious and structured about forecasting, this is the sign that we'll end up in our business going out of business. That's how important forecasting is. And some folks maybe know that, maybe say, okay, I'll work on that. But I'm going to ask you to be structured about it, to forecast in such a way that we're not taking the gamble that you're going to let something fall through the crack. Forecasting. So what are things that we constantly need to have on our mind as entrepreneurs about forecasting? Well, the first word that comes to my mind is turn, T-U-R-N-S. Why are turns so important? Well, turns is short for turnovers. And forecasting sales is all about having more turnovers because we don't make profit. You don't make profit until a product is sold. Just because a truckload of product came in and we got it on the shelf or we got it displayed or advertised or demonstrated, all those are good things, but there's no profit made, no margins created until it's sold. And when it's sold, we've got the option to leave that space vacant on the shelf or to order something back in to take its place. And now we're in a seasonal sale, like all of us will be in some type of seasons, to think that, hey, I got 20 on the shelf today, but June's right around the corner, and last year in June, I sold 200 of these. So if I don't order some to get ready for next year's, for this coming June, then I don't lose a lot of business because I won't have product to sell. That's the question. That's the key. That's the challenge. Looking at inventory turns to know how many you need to have next month, and so how many to order, so that you don't take your money, precious little bit of money, and put it in inventory that is not selling, that keeps you from being able to pay bills, that makes you go borrow money, and the cost of your business goes up 2 times. 1, because now you're paying interest, and 2, because you're losing revenue. That's why forecasting is so important. How does it affect your business? How are you going to make that work? Is it better to have a warehouse full of stuff and never have an empty basket, or to have a warehouse that has got just enough stuff to get you till your next order comes in? And therefore you are turning your merchandise and you're turning your money, and every time the money turns, you can take out some margin. Well, it's the latter. You want just enough more merchandise on the shelf to meet your sale needs, plus a little bit for safety margin. And that all depends too on how fast you can get merchandise. And if you can get it pretty quickly and you can really keep your stocking numbers down, then that's even a better deal. I'm very fortunate in my business that I can sell out of my distributor's inventory and not have to stock any of that stuff myself. That's win-win-win. And I try to help you find a business that you can enjoy that type of flexibility and less stress. Staffing issues are always known to be the forecast. You got jobs coming up. You got either selling time for money. You need to add staff, or you need to have people to help you with your selling. Try to look as far down the road and have the staff on board when you need them. And the worst thing you can do is to bring staff on board to serve your customers who don't know what they're doing. So training, getting them in time and having them trained before they screw up and make mistakes for your customers that make them angry or don't come back. Or number 2, make you have to spend a lot more money to redo things. Training is the best investment you can make, provided you're planning on keeping that employee or having them available to you at another time. Then you get your training investment back. Cash flow. Having the money on hand when you need it takes a lot of forecasting. So think right now, I'm going to need to be buying a lot of product before I can start selling it. And if you are, then you need some reserve money. You need a credit line. You need to talk to your supplier and see what type of a payment schedule you can work out. But think about it in advance, and then you, number 1, will have what you need when you need it, and number 2, be able to pay it back with a good plan that don't put you in a bind. Cash flow predictions are important for you. Now let's talk about some other risks that might make a difference for you. You want to look at your business and any risk that you know that are involved in it. What do I need to be careful for in this business I'm getting started? What are the things that might go wrong? Well, there's a good way to figure out what the different risks are in your business, and you need to, because that'll have a lot to do with how you move forward. But a good way to find out the different risks in your business is to talk to someone that's been there and done that, someone that's been in that type of business. And it don't have to be the exact same, but a similar type of business will survive, will make it work. These old folks around here with all this white hair, we know some stuff that might help you, and we'd be glad to share it. Your small business center director will know who and where to talk to give you that information about risk management in your business. An independent insurance agency can turn on their computer, and their insurance company, if they're insuring small businesses, automatically has file after file after file on what are the risks involved with different types of businesses, and they print you one out. And you need that. Because a lot of this risk management stuff you can do on your own at a very low cost. Sometimes it's clean up. Sometimes it's putting some light bulbs in. Sometimes it's fixing a leak over here or a problem in the driveway. Sometimes it's more important than that. Sometimes you might actually have to buy an insurance policy to cover this particular risk. It might be required by your creditor or the state or yourself. At any rate, I want to tell you that my business and your business has risk. And it's better for us to say, okay, I know that. Or what's best is for you to write them down and decide what you're doing about each one of them. Then there's a good chance you won't get a surprise, okay? So forecasting your needs with marketing and strategy, being here tonight, staying on top of your game, improving your skills, so very important. But the goals of forecasting now is for you to have the right product or right service, right style, quantity, and sizes, for you to be able to sell it at the highest possible retail price at your local market of stand, and also for you to buy it at the lowest possible cost. The key in the middle of that is for you to understand fair market value, as we talked about for the last few weeks. So, but with the best risk management system, which is knowing fair market value, you'll be able to achieve this. But only if you sit down on it and think about it a few months ahead of time and make a plan. Excuse me. So we are selling real estate. We got folks in here with us tonight that are selling real estate, selling products, doing lots of important things, making some big deals and planning on doing the same. So negotiating is so much important of everything we do, whether it's with our 2-year-old child or with our wife or husband. We're always negotiating in some way, even in a personal setting. But here's what I am happy to bring to you tonight. With what we'll talk about tonight and next week, I want to tell you that you can forecast, the word we've been talking about, you can forecast how negotiations will go in advance. And that is being savvy about business. Extreme preparation will help you forecast how negotiations will go and how you can close deals. So your own preparation is to be a good negotiator, to have your targets and your goals in mind, to have your pricing and your terms and concessions that you can make in mind and on paper as well. That's total preparation before you get there, before you have the encounter, to understand how important introductions are. As you're starting a negotiation, how you introduce yourself and present yourself as a negotiating partner or an enemy. Some folks look at people that are negotiating with, hey, they're my enemy. They're trying to take my money away from me. They're trying to get a better deal than I'm getting. And if that feeling exists, then this negotiation may be doomed to begin with. Because we want our introductions to bring us in such a way as having courage and grace, graciousness, so that we both feel good about being negotiating partners here today for a win-win, well-balanced situation. Because that is the only situation that leads up to sales in the future. So take the mindset, my friends. Negotiations now is not a war. Negotiations is a art form for both sides to end up with a fair deal in a win-win situation. Then you've got a chance to stay in business a long time. But where we sit and how we sit and how we position ourselves can have a lot to do with whether or not the negotiation works. Your documents need to be a work of art. When you print out the documents, they need to be ready. Now, I've got a customer who will be here tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and he's coming to buy a piece of equipment. He's going to pay me here and then go to the distributor and get it. Well, I spent the time to make sure that all the paperwork that he's going to need is prepared. I've already signed it. I've already got the numbers in it. So that when he gets here, he's going to have a first-class document, invoice, everything spelled out on it that he's going to need, and I'm going to be able to sign this, and he'll give me his check, and he'll be here less than 3 minutes unless he wants to stay around and visit. And when he leaves, he's not going to end up with a bunch of scrabbled stuff. He's going to end up with something he's going to be proud of and keep for a long time. He's also going to leave here with my business card. Well, this is great. This came up tonight. He's going to have my business card, and I'm going to give him a decal to stick on that piece of equipment that's got our name and phone number on it, so that he'll be constantly reminded where he bought it, and he can tell other customers that come up to it and take a look at it. That is documents being a work of art. It only happens if you prepare. Took 30 minutes ahead so that when he gets here, it can go. Now, a lot of you already know, if you bought and sold real estate through the years, that real estate deals oftentimes blow up and go away at closing. And if you haven't anticipated and forecasted all the things that might go wrong and have put measures in place to prevent it, you can lose a big deal over a little thing. So think about that. Frequently asked questions are an important ingredient in a negotiator. Think about the questions that are going to be asked, write them down, and come up with a really good answer that makes you look really cool and really smart, and somebody that this person on the other side will be pleased to say, man, they know what they're talking about. I'm gaining confidence in them because they anticipated the questions I was going to ask and had a good, reasonable answer for me. Are you doing that? Frequently asked questions. Now, we're dealing with money here probably, and we've set our price, and hopefully, if we've paid attention in previous classes, we set our price high enough that we can negotiate. And now that we've got our price set, we have a roadmap of offers and counteroffers that the customer, the buyer, will probably offer, and if they do, how will I counter that in such a way to help me get to the actual number, my low dollar, and also the one that I'll make profit at. Give me a place to know where to start and to stop in advance, and at least 3 steps in between, and I've got my negotiation mapped out. I am prepared. I am prepared. And that's the key as to how you get there to do that. But that's not the rest of the story. Everybody kind of knows that, if you've been around a while. The thing that the experts will know is that I'm not going to list them on this perfect piece of paper. And I'm not going to mention secret weapons that I've got to help me close the deal when it's time to do the closing. When I sense that the customer is moving in a position and making comments and nonverbal communications to help me know they're getting ready to buy, I need some secret weapons to close this deal. And usually they can be found in your value-added items. What can you say to that customer that you're bringing to them that nobody else is? What can you say to them that I'm going to do something special for you at no additional cost that no one else has mentioned? Or my product here has this little ingredient in that we hadn't talked about that is no one else have it, and it has a value to you. When you think about in advance about what are you going to hold in reserve, what are you going to save for closing, then you're becoming a negotiator that's going to win deals. Always keep that in mind. What can your secret weapons value added be? Now, maybe you've never heard such a conversation that I'm laying on you tonight. That's all right. We're new at this. But don't you hesitate to send me an email and say, hey, I'm in this type of business, doing this type of negotiating. What are some value-added items that I can do for you? Now, Kia is a great example. In her, she offers her customers a check-off list that says, before I leave here, I'll check off all these different things that you've said were important to us, so that you always know that when you come home after a trip or come home after a day's work and after I've been at your place, these items are covered. That's value added because most cleaning people don't do that. They should, but Kia knows in advance that it's value added. And there's that type of thing that goes on and on and on. So you might say, hey, I'm the type of person, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now that at the end of each month, I don't clean your oven. No extra charge. It'll just be something I plan to do for you. That special stuff, the little value-added things that you can do go a long, long way. So, and lastly, maybe the most important secret weapon of all is that you are savvy enough and focused on doing your business that you know how to use a very important secret weapon. And that is, how can I capture the moment? How can I change this sales back and forth, this traffic back and forth, conversation back and forth? And then I sense, by golly, I think this customer may be ready to say yes, even though they can't say it with their mouth, but they're indicating that. What can you do? The key is learning how to capture the moment. Learning how to use drama, being dramatic, using your voice to steal their attention and bring them right into focus, and push for the close. Push for the magic time to get that signature or get that key. And you do that with pauses you might use. Different eye movement, like maybe you've been searching around, maybe it's time to take your glasses off and focus right into their eyes. Make sure they're listening. Sometimes take a long silence. And then they'll be on edge waiting to hear what you have to say. And you don't say it loudly, you say it softly so that you have earned their attention. And now they're listening to you, and it's up to you to say the right things that get them to shake their head yes or to sign the dotted line, and not to actually say it sometimes because that don't work. But learn how to capture the moment and close the deal. When you're negotiating, when you're buying something, one of the features is always remember to have an alternative that's better than the negotiated deal that you're after. In other words, before you go out in the world to buy a particular thing, do some shopping and find out what's out there and what the price is that you think would satisfy you. And that is the rock that you're going to start with your negotiating. Because everything in the future is about getting a better deal than this. You know you can go buy this furniture outfit for $2,000, but you're going to go to another store and offer $1,000 and then start negotiating and see how it goes. That's the way you end up making negotiation make you money. Keeping that plan B in your hand so that what you're doing now either tells you that this is the best deal I can do, I need to go do it, or there's a lot better deals out here. And if you do get that better deal, and it's significant, and this person that gave you that first offer was sincere and someone that you might want to do business with in the future and create a buying partner, then I'd say to go back to them and say, I've done some shopping, and your deal, while it felt good at the time, is not stacking up. Do you want to sharpen your pencil and give me your best offer now? Give them that option. If they're good business people, they'll know what to do with it. But at any rate, you're going to end up with the best deal possible. But if you're going to start out with this person, make sure it's a deal that you would go through with, because it might have been where you're back at. So it's worth your time to go back and maybe give them a second chance to renegotiate. I really appreciate it when customers do that for me. That's worth giving them an extra discount, cutting my margin to the bone maybe, because then we create a solid relationship that the next time they will probably just come to me and we'll do a deal. So that's the Plan B process. I wrote a little book, little pamphlet. It's available at Amazon. Yes, if, no, but. And that is a way of negotiating that helps you keep a deal alive. Instead of saying, I just can't do that. No, take it or leave it. I hate take it or leave it. I'll always try to find a way to find common ground with a customer, even if it's close, even if it's for a little bit. But saying, no, I just can't do this. But if we can make this little concession, I can do it. And then you can talk some more and try to find common ground. Or you might say, yes, I will take you up on your offer if you won't make me throw this, this, and this in. Saying yes, if, or no, but is so much better than saying, get lost, take it or leave it. Because take it or leave it to most people mean, I'm going to leave it and go shop somewhere else. And when we open that door and kick them in the butt out of our negotiating room, that is negative cash flow, because you had a chance to keep talking and try to get that deal, and you didn't take it. So price your stuff high enough to leave you room to negotiate, and do it, and you'll end up with a tremendous more amount of business at a tremendous more amount of margins. Okay? Yes, if, no, but, worth hanging on to. 4 fundamental rules in negotiating. Don't give up anything unless you're getting something in return. Negotiating is keeping a balance. So I give up this, I get this in return, vice versa. Anytime that you're in negotiation and you can get a concession without giving up anything, that's a win for you. It's a win for you. It is helping you improve your position. Doesn't mean you hurt anyone. It's just you know negotiating skills and you figure out how to improve your position. The other person may still be winning in their own life. Try not to be the one that makes the first offer. If someone's pushing you to say what your best offer is, you have that advertised price to put out, because you plan that advertised price to negotiate from. And then say, okay, what do you think? And they say, oh man, that's way too high. I know you can come off that. What's the best deal you can offer me? And that's what they ought to say. And your response should be, well, I'm pretty close to the money here. What's the best deal you can offer me, and write me a check right now for it? In other words, get them to make you some offer. No matter how high or low, what's the best deal you can write me a check for right now? And then you got a starting point. And you anticipate in your mind before you get there, they will probably offer me something way down low below my advertised sale price, and that's what they're supposed to do, and you are professional enough to know it's coming. It's a curveball zinging right at your head, and if you are a prepared negotiator, you're going to move. But if you're out here for the first time, it may knock you for a loop. So be prepared to get that first offer, and in your different steps of counters, you'll figure out how to get to where you need to be. Number 3, no matter where you're at, what you're doing, what you're buying, when someone is selling you something and they've given you a price and it may seem incredibly good to you, you may be smiling inside, but still that frown's going to be on your face, and you're going to say, holy moly, is that your best price? Can't you do better than that? Come on, man, get off that rock. Tell me what you can really do. That's called the poor mouthing tactic in Sampson County. where I've dealt with farmers so long, and they know how to do this real well, because I've got a choice to make. When they tell me to give me that best price, let's come on and do that and whatever, then I'm in a position to cut out all that safety margin and give them that low price, and then they're in the position to start negotiating. So just remember that. You don't want to give them that best price unless it's what you had planned to do in this pre-structured plan that you had. The better answer is to say, man, my price is a good price, and I can stay in business at this price, and I certainly appreciate you considering it, but it is a good price for me. But what's a good price for you? In other words, you're saying, yes, I can, no, I can't, but if, get them to give you that offer, and then you're in gear. You're ready to start because you had planned that whatever offer comes in, you've already got your counter figured out. Closing the deal is the biggest mistake the salesperson can make. Keeping the deal open till you find common ground is the best way you can approach it. You want to keep talking and keep hope and close the deal. And the best way, I'm telling you, my friends, to keep the conversation going on is through yes, if, or no, but negotiating. I really hope this helps you. It has helped me so much through the years and made the difference probably in whether or not I'm still in business or not, is knowing how to negotiate those tight deals. So there's some ploys that are used all over the world and taught in every college. Actually, some 21 of them that teach different things, and they are in the handouts that I have sent to you already or will send to you. But there's 9 of them that are particularly used often. Burst your bubble, number 1. That is when someone says to you, I'd like to make you an offer, but it's going to be real, real low. Would you consider a real low offer? And this is when you have a chance to say, no, take it or leave it. Or say, the right thing is, absolutely. I'll consider any offer that comes my way. You see, they don't know how much margin or negotiating room that you build into that price. And you may have a tremendous amount of room in their low offer, which they're thinking is going to be, man, a big win for them because they've cut your price right down low. You maybe had anticipated that, and you can take that low offer or negotiate it up a little bit and end up better off than you will. Always price yourself high enough you can take offers, and always accept or consider offers so that you can negotiate from there. Don't let burst your bubble push you to say, no, take it or leave it, because they don't leave it. Flinching. When someone makes you an offer, you say, oh my God, this is the big one, I can't stand it. Oh me, why are you doing this to me? Flinching is using a physical reaction to an offer that's made to you. Without you saying a thing, you're encouraging that person to say, oh man, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. I can come off of that a little bit. This is ways that you get a concession. If you're on the other side of the fence, you say, man, that's the best flinching move I have ever seen in my life. Fred Sanford couldn't do it that well. So come on now, pay me the price and let's get on with the deal. So you let them know that you know that they're using the flinching move on you. Silence is a tough one. A lot of professional negotiators will work with that retail salesperson or person they're negotiating with, and I'll tell you what my offer is, and they'll just kind of look at you like Otis looks at me sometimes, my bulldog. What an expression. Like, are you crazy? Just look at them. Don't say a word. Might shake your head no a little bit or kind of look out the door. That silence will encourage the other person to give you a concession without costing you a penny. That quiet time sometimes can make you some big bucks. Think about that. In today's world, with inflation alive and well, as the economy is alive and well, don't let anyone tell you the economy is bad. It's as good as I have ever seen it, and it's better than anywhere in the world. We got a little problem with inflation with food and gas prices. I know that. And interest rates are going up, and if you're working off your credit card, that hurts. but the economy is good, which I say that not to pretend to be some type of politician, but to assure you that if you are in business, you don't need to be running around talking about how bad the economy is. You need to be talking about how good the economy is, because people are buying stuff from people that are happy to have it to sell and are not down-mouthing the economy. Keep that in mind. The world is in good shape right now. If it was opposite from that, I'd be giving you some tips about how to hunker down. But this is not a time to hunker down. This is a time to put your flag up and sell, sell, sell. Deal with the inflation. If you have to increase your prices, increase the prices, because people at this point in time still are buying the most they've ever bought before. So that gives you the room to say, you better go ahead and buy this now before the prices go up again. And folks know that prices are going up, and that may be an important way that you can go ahead and close the sale. If you're on the other side of this and you're buying and you really don't want to commit, you might say, can I give you a deposit? I don't have that money now. Can I give you $100 deposit and finish paying for it in 30 or 40 days? And if that works for you, you just took them out of the market and you made your money. And you go ahead and lock down the prices you have to pay for it. Use inflation to help you make sales. Look at the charts. You can see how many good business people have been doing that now for 2 years. Use pending price increases. Red herring, that's when you have a customer focus on something that's really good about your product and you don't mention something that's not so good. That's leaving the red herring out. That's being a red herring. And that applies in a lot of different things. That's like when the car salesman leans up against the hood of the car and points about this, and this being so good, but the whole time he's covering up a little dent that's on that fender there that he's learning against. What do you do on the other side of this? You really inspect. You really know your product, and if you don't know it, carry someone with you that does before you make a buy. Customers that come in to you and say, I need your very best price. Let's see if we can do a deal today. But all the time, they're thinking that I don't get his best price and then leave, tell him I got to go talk to daddy or mama or someone else, the boss, and see if we can do the deal. What they're doing is setting you up for a retreat to a higher authority. That's when the person that's talking to you really plans to not to close with you today, but come back and try to get a better deal. That's done all the time. So how do you do it if you're on the other side? Before you start talking with this customer, you say something like I do. Look here, I'm so glad you're here at Carver Equipment today. I came in here this morning with my trading breeches on, and I want to do business. I want to do business today and make a deposit with your money tonight. Are you in a position that we can find common ground to give me the order today? And people will be honest with you then. They didn't say, yes, sir, I've got my checkbook in the pocket and I'm right. I don't have to call anybody. Or they'll say, no, I'll have to go talk to the wife. I'll be back tomorrow. Well, when you get that signal, you want to know that you're not going to go to that final run on your planned negotiation. You're not going to give them that best deal, because tomorrow when they come back, I'll bet you they're going to be offering you a deal a little lower than the one you're at right now. Just keep that in mind and find out if there's a higher authority involved. Splitting the difference is a great way of finding common ground with a customer. I'm here and you're there. Let's meet in the middle and do the deal. First of all, when a customer offers you, why don't we split the difference and do this thing? Or let's meet in the middle. That means splitting the difference. When you hear those words from a buyer's mouth, that is a buying signal. They have determined that they're going to go ahead and close this deal. Even though you hadn't agreed on the numbers, you've won them over, and it's time for you to start closing. So in splitting the difference, professional salespeople through the years have used this so effectively, especially in car sales and things where people are excited to do. So we might say that you're at, I'm at $300 and you're at $100. And you say, we can split the difference here. But your answer here now needs to be not, yeah, let's do it. Your answer would be, so I'm at 300 and you're saying you can come to 200? That's good. I said, but I still needed $300, but I appreciate you coming up to 200. You reckon we can split the difference there? You see, splitting the difference between 200 and 300 is what, 250. So I've improved my position by $50 just by the way I answered that split the difference thing. And this was small money. This happens with big money too. And I've seen professional salesmen split the difference 3 times and improve their position 3 times, still keeping that customer happy. The person that says, let's split the difference or find middle ground, they're happy. It's become a game now. It's become a game. And if you play that game with them, they're just as excited with them as if you started at day one. And so you have to be careful there. Maybe you don't want to split the difference, but you still play the game with them to try to get to where you need to get. Show me the cash, all powerful. You ready to buy something? The salesman isn't there. You show him the check or show him the cash and say, am I going to give this offer to you, or am I going to go down the street and give it to someone else this afternoon? That moves the needle. But you have to come prepared and with the backbone and the courage to play it through. Don't make that offer if you're not going to fulfill it. But you make sure when you make that offer, you have made it for a lower price than where you were before, so you're getting a benefit from that offer. So on the other side of the fence, look, that cash looks mighty attractive to me, and I need it. My wife and my children and my grandchildren all need new shoes, and I need that money. I want you to write that check out to me, but it needs to be for at least this amount of money. So you keep them in the check writing mood, and then you get them to put your figure on that check. Good way to close the deal. Because if they didn't want to buy it and weren't thinking about it, it's a closing signal. When they give you a show me the cash proposition, that's a good thing. Nibbling is by far the most used negotiating tool in the world today. Nibbling is when that customer says they're going to buy something from you. You say, okay, we got us a deal, and then they start. Now, you did say you were going to throw this in, and I was going to get this right. And how about that? And this was included as well. They will start nibbling on you and adding all these different things to the deal and eat up a lot of your profit before you know what's happened. So you've got to guard against that, because there are professional people to do it. And if you haven't ever used this technique when you're buying something, start. It's the right thing to do. But as the sales side of it, you need to learn that when you close that deal, is to write this dollar figure down, draw a circle around it, have the customer initial, or at least put a check mark on it, while somebody prepares the paperwork or gives the money or the finance work or whatever. And then when they start nibbling on you, you say, absolutely, you can get this, but this is the deal we started at. This is where we're at that we agreed on. And if you want me to add this in, I'll do it at this figure. So it's, yes, we can do that if we can up the ante a little bit. So you go right back to not giving up anything unless you get something to return. When the deal is closed, that's a serious moment, and you need to act like it is and hold them to the fire, okay? There's 12 more different types of negotiating tactics in your handouts. I suggest you read them all. And then in about 3 or 4 days, read them all again. And keep reading them till they're kind of in your mind. Because people are going to be negotiating with you and you back with them. And you need to have these in your tool belt. Because sometimes in real subtle ways, real soft ways, big changes can make in your profitability. Look for the buying signals when you're talking with a customer. Are they assuming ownership? Are they talking about when we can get delivery? Concentrating on little details and disappointed if they can't get it exactly when they want it. Those are buying signals. That means they've already decided in their mind, I'm going to buy this thing. Now I need to negotiate all the little questions in my mind. But when you start getting those signals, it's time for you to move into that, capture the moment, and move it to a close. Look for those buying signals. After you close the deal, wrap it up really quickly. Get your paperwork done, get your signatures done, collect deposits or down payments, and then, important, congratulate them on what a great negotiator they are. How they have taken you to the cleaners, and you hope that sometime in the future we can do another deal and maybe I can get a penny back here. Or maybe you can send me another customer that'll help me make enough profit and the boss doesn't fire me. Always make sure the person you're negotiating with feels like the winner of the game, feels good about doing business with you. Because when they walk out that door, they'll pat themselves on the back, and the next people they talk to about this event will be all about what a great deal you're able to give people, and that's what raving fan customers do for you to send other people in for your next business. It's not rocket science, but it's repetition and doing the same thing over and over and over again to the point that you are a pro. So stay with it long enough to do it. Read over these, think about it. I had to wait a good 40 years in business to realize how these fine points can make such a big difference. And I'm happy to share them with you now as you're just getting started. But then, close your deal, get your paperwork done, pat them on the back, and then shut up and leave. Get out of there. Because buyer's remorse is a real thing. Buyer's remorse is when someone has a second to think about what they've just done and has little whispers in their ear and it says, oh, I've screwed up. I shouldn't have done that. I think I'll go find Steve and close this deal. I want my money back. Buyer's remorse as well. And if you're around there having a cup of tea or chit-chatting or out in the front yard leaning up against your car, they'll come find you. Especially if there's a wife or a husband that's needling them about. So remember that. Another little footnote in, if you're dealing with big ticket numbers, deals that are done on Fridays and Saturdays, especially if someone has alcohol on their breath, usually on Mondays they'll be back in there wanting to find fault with what you've done or with the product and want their money back or want to close the deal. Even though you didn't do anything wrong or your product didn't either, this is life. People go home and they face their spouse and they catch hell, especially if they were drinking. They catch so much hell that the first thing they got to do Monday is to go get out of that deal. And so know that's a chance when you're dealing with someone on the weekend that's got liquor on their breath, especially with big ticket items. There is a hereafter. How do you handle that? You handle it with grace because you knew it was coming, and you don't rub it in their face, but you say this to them. Look, I've been around a while, and I've faced some issues and done some things maybe too quickly. Is there really anything wrong with that tractor? Did I really say anything wrong to make you mad, or do you just need to kind of reverse what happened? And usually, if you're being gracious and honest and ask that question, they'll say, my wife told me I had to get out of this deal. You hand them their money back, you pat them on the back, you let them know that you appreciated working with them, disappointed we're not closing the deal, but look forward to them coming back when they are ready. That wins you a raving fan customer because they can go home now and have a life of their own. Now, the rest of that story is, I've probably had that happen to me 30 or 40 times through the years. And at least half of the times, a significant number of big ticket deals, they left on Monday morning with the money back or their deposit, or I've agreed to close the deal. They came back on Tuesday or Wednesday with their wife or with their husband and said, let's go forward with this. This is all right. And we appreciate you letting us do it. Yeah, now there really is a raving fan customer. Because when you can turn a bad situation into a good situation in business with a customer, you got them locked in. And that's the way to do it. But you got to be savvy enough to know that things that happen with big ticket items on Friday and on Saturdays have a chance of getting upside down by Monday, and you need to help that customer that loved you enough to give you the business on the weekend, you need to be in a position to help them out of a jam and not be a hardliner against them and embarrass them or fuss them or something like that. Even if they're telling you something was wrong with what you did or the product, because we all know there wasn't. Word to the wise. Well, it's 8 o'clock. Let me give you just another minute. Your legacy as a negotiator and a person that's buying will follow you all through your business life. So you want to find vendors and people that you're buying from that you feel good about doing business with them, and they look forward to seeing you. When that's the case, when you're a good negotiator, you've earned an asset that will help you for a long time. So sometimes you need to pay another $1 more to stay with a good vendor that backs you up, someone that has the parts for you, someone that will give you a credit line, someone that will back up their products the way they're supposed to. The cheapest deal is most often not the best deal. Sometimes it is, but most often not. So negotiate hard, but be in a position to recognize value. Recognize value. And lastly, I want to start talking about courage for a moment. Courage and conviction drive people, your customers and yourself, and it will drive your business. If you have a business with a good mission, vision, and promise statement that you show your conviction in it, it will make a big difference in the way you feel about yourself, your business, and the way the customers feel about doing business with you. Courage and convictions are all about how we communicate and who we communicate with and how well we listen. So y'all done a lot of listening tonight, and I do appreciate it. And I want to say God bless all of you and your families. And yes, you can do this too. So thank you for staying with us. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Next week it's going to be about taxes, depreciation, and closing those sales. So thank you so much. Turn your mics on and ask any questions that you'd like.
I don't have any questions, but thank you for all the helpful information, Steve.
Thank you. I know I lay a lot out there, so that's why a lot of people like to come back to these courses 4, 5, 6 times. We're always happy to have you. Thank you so much, Tradonna.
You're very welcome.
Anyone else have a comment?
Good night, Steve. I missed some of it because we had a storm, but I got back in as soon as I can. Good.
Well, thank you, Pam. I'm looking forward to getting those progress reports on your garden.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I'm just saying good night, Steve. Good class. I came in late, too.
I'm not going to give you a tardy slip. Thank you, Sarita. I know how busy y'all are, and it's a busy time of year now. Don't ever hesitate coming in late, folks. I know I can't expect people to drop everything they're doing to be here at 6 o'clock, but whenever you can come in, even if it's 7 or 7:30, we're always happy to have you. Who's that we got down there that their phone number ends in 1867? Who we got there? Talk to me. Need to know who you are so I can show your present tonight. Cell phone number 471-1867. Who is that? Or if you don't want to talk, go over to the chit chat and let me know. So Tiffany, I hope you enjoyed the presentation tonight and will come back to see us often. And Rhonda, so glad to have you. Where are you located? You talk to me? All right, maybe folks are cleaning up the supper tables. I understand that. God bless you all. Have a great, great week and weekend. And hope to see you next Wednesday night for our final part in this 7-part series. Do your homework, do those tests, and we'll get Sarita started on another round of certificates for us. Take care. Good night. God bless you.
Good night.